Please welcome actress and producer Mackenzie Gruer, writer, director, editor, actor Ryan Ward. So what was the storyline behind this movie? Why did you make this?
Why did I make it? I think other than the obvious reason of making a film so that I could try to imagine my way into somebody else's experience, was that when I would often watch films like, Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society or something like that, where it's trying to show you something like that, being that I'm not African American, I always felt that there was like a barrier between me and the main character. Like I could relate and I could feel it, but there was always like a barrier there, like where I couldn't totally relate because it wasn't a representation of me. And so I felt like when I thought of the idea to make this film that I wanted to like remove that barrier. And so I thought that, maybe if you created like a reverse world and tried to imagine how things would be totally, totally different, then maybe you could, then if you put somebody who looked like me in that role, in that protagonist role, then like, other people like me could relate to it more easily. So that was my reasoning.
So remember, you can tweet your questions to #SBFF, and since I started, I'll let you guys go on. Are there any questions from the audience? Yes, sir. I'm going to move on to another question. I'm sorry, I don't feel like that's very helpful. Yes, ma'am. Right, so the question has to do with a lot of what we've seen in the news lately with people being shot or killed in these situations. Did you make a decision not to portray that in this particular instance?
Yeah, we made a decision not to portray it because I thought like that it would be kind of obvious. It's what you expect, right, is for that to happen. And, I think a lot of times that doesn't happen, gets pulled over for whatever reason, but it doesn't always happen. So now I really wanted to make a film that was like an everyday slice of life that was like not super over dramatized or anything like that, but it was just like, here's something that just kind of could just happen in a day, and it wasn't like a huge climactic thing. And I thought that if we over dramatized it, it would just be like too melodramatic, and I just really wanted to keep it down to like something that like you could just kind of like say, oh, that was just a day, and even so, like even saying that, like that is over dramatized. Like it's a movie. You're trying to get in like a point and a message and an idea, and yeah, it was a choice.
Yes. Yeah, you. So
yeah, it was. Yeah.
I'm sorry. The question was about the way that it was shot, the shoulder mount, and all that. Was that intentional from the beginning, or?
It was, yeah, because I wanted to feel like a neo-documentary, like you were really there. It was like you're just kind of getting a window into these people's lives, and it's like, you're a fly on the wall. You're not, you're very not really there. I felt also that if you did it, shoulder handheld and very, shaky and gritty, that it would be, more fitting for the subject matter. You know what I mean? It's kind of a city movie, so feels like a gritty city. We colored it kind of green to be a little dirty and kind of strange, and also like to try to give it like a futuristic look, like or an alternate history look, like District 9 or something, where it's like a different world. It kind of signals that a little bit.
I really noticed that though on the big screen. I think that's the most that I've ever felt that really like intense into the character's world, kind of focused, unfocused feeling, and it harkened to the kind of cage-like kind of motif we wanted to set up, that you sort of felt trapped and didn't know where to go or how to get out. So that really showed up on this really beautiful
it's like
large screen.
Type framing, so you can't get out. Like you're in their experience, and it's like right here, it's right there, and you as a viewer can't get out because they can't get out. So it was an emotional, tonal choice.
I was curious to know, what was it like for the African American members of the cast as you dealt with them? And
It's interesting that you ask that, and you talked about if this was sort of an experience that we like subdued a bit more, because the gentleman playing the cop oftentimes would have to stop and laugh during takes because he was in an out-of-body experience. He was like, I can't believe I'm the one doing this, He he is married to a white woman, and he has been pulled over a number of times and been told to sit on the curb while they speak to his wife and say, are you willingly with this man? That sort of thing. So this was the best part he ever could have had, he said, because, he could kind of relive his life in a different way a bit.
But it was interesting. It was an interesting thing trying to direct the actors in the movie, because I kept having to remind, like Maurice, who plays the police officer, or Zarif, who plays the boss, you got to come over top of us. You got to come over top. You have to have a status that's over top, And then I had to keep reminding the white actors, you have to have a status that's under here. And just naturally, just from where we live and the way that things are, it's hard. It was hard to do. And so it was really interesting, to keep going, no, higher, over top, and under. So it was really, that's something I really didn't expect to encounter, but it was interesting.
so we have a question from Twitter about the use of language and the writing. It was in Arabic, is that correct, or no?
It was. So we put it in English so people would understand it, obviously. But it was supposed to be in Swahili, which is Swahili and Arabic are the two largest, most used languages in Africa. So we had to make a choice as to what we thought might have happened in history that would have led to an America that was like that. So we imagined that the Mali Empire in East Africa rose to power, and so that would then dictate that they would speak Swahili. They would have an East African accent, and that.
So if you speak Arabic and you can't understand this, that's okay, because the language is Swahili. So you would have to understand Swahili and Arabic. So yes, it's all very tied up in there.
Yes, ma'am. Was that an albino greyhound?
Beans the Whippet. Please follow him on Facebook and Twitter. He was just surfing the other day. He's deaf. One eye is blue, one eye is brown. He's beautiful. I don't know if he's albino, but he's a really lovely creature. Beans the Whippet.
Look him up.
He's famous in LA, I swear.
He hit his marks more than any other actor. It was unbelievable.
He's the social media following is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, symbolically,
yeah.
He's albino mouse in a cage. And that mouse, what did Toby name him? Oh, he named him Kyle.
Oh yeah, the young boy took the mouse home at the end of the shoot. He was his new pet.
Yeah.
He fell in love with him, and his mom was there, and they loved him, so he found a good home.
Yes, sir. Why did you spell America with a K, with the capital K?
Often in Africa, that's how it's spelled when people talk about it. If you spell it.
Yeah,
in
we just
English.
wanted to
Yeah,
kind of
and we
draw
wanted-
attention to the K, and aesthetically it looked nice. We had several other titles for the film. So
But we thought, if you look at, there's just one thing that's off and different. It's like a hint,
a hint.
something's different.
Yes, ma'am, right there. So where was this filmed and how long did it take?
It took us 3 days to film it, and then we did a fourth morning of B-roll. So 3.5 days. And it was filmed, a lot of it was in South Central. And then the house was in Antelope Valley.
Los Angeles,
Like
South Central
Los Angeles,
LA.
Compton, South
yeah,
Central.
Compton.
Yeah.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Yes. So the question is, why were you being discriminated against?
Well, it was a reverse world. So we were trying to, so there's the obvious, racial profiling.
Because you're white.
Because
imagining-
he's white and the way he looks. And then also, we suggest that perhaps the character has a history, but we didn't want to, it's up to you to decide, There's a gap in his employment, yeah, and he's looking for a job. It's not easy to get, why is that? So yeah, it's suggested, but it's up to your interpretation.
Thank you very much. Ryan Ward and
Thank you.
Mackenzie Brewer.
I'd like to thank Stony Brook as well. We had a great time here, and we really...
I just want to say, before you pull me off stage, I just want to say thank you so much to Stony Brook. We have been to probably like 70 film festivals or in the past 5 movies we've made, and this is one of the, I'd say, top 3 festivals that we've ever been to. It's incredible. Incredible venue, incredible staff members. It's very well organized. The audience is lovely, and we're just so happy to be here. It's really something special that you have. Don't take this for granted. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Stony Brook
Thank you.
rocks. Thank you.
Top 3, Alan. We have to work a little harder. You can't catch a break. So our last feature tonight has been given many titles by Alan. He's called it Hannah's Journey. He's called it something about Reservoir Dogs. He's called it many things. It's called Hannah's Sleeping Dogs. It's a wonderful movie. I hope you enjoy it. There's no Q&A afterwards.